Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Shared Discovery, the show and podcast dedicated to sharing all the exciting and enjoyable aspects of games and gaming. I'm your host, Victor. Today I'm once again joined by my returning co-host, Ron. Ron, how you been?
Well, busy, but well. How about yourself, Victor?
I've been awesome. This is great. I've been having a lot of fun making this show. What games have you been playing lately since I've seen you last?
Oh man, got a weekly game of John Company going, and that's a Kickstarter game.
Okay.
So don't expect people to really know what it is.
You're gonna have to tell me about it too.
Yeah, it's wild, but mostly just doing some like self-care with Magic the Gathering. Just keep it simple.
Yes.
Nothing too crazy.
That can be really good self-care, depending on how you play it.
Yeah. What about yourself, Victor? What have you been playing?
Me, we did the Pokemon gaming episode last week, and that really inspired me, shocking, to go back and play more Pokemon, and specifically Pokemon Legends Arceus. I really like that game because they expanded on the Pokedex. So it used to be in the Pokedex where you would just go out, catch the Pokemon, that was it. Now each Pokemon that you catch, you have to meet a whole list of objectives. Use this certain move a bunch of times, catch this many of them, watch them behave this way, feed them. So I've been challenging myself to, before I go anywhere else in the story, complete all the dex entries in the starting zone there. Doing a Professor Oak's challenge.
A little completionist.
A little completionist, a little achiever of me, right? So I've been inspired by our last 2 episodes, and that's been keeping me busy.
Good.
It's not a quick challenge, but it's super fun, and I think it's going to be really interesting because each mission that you complete, you get XP towards your rank. So I'm excited to see what rank can I get to before I even do any of the story.
Yeah, wild stuff.
Yeah,
man.
so I've been having a lot of fun with that. That's been keeping me busy. Playing Magic too, of course. Always play Magic.
Always.
But we're not here to talk about Magic. We're not here to talk about Pokemon. Those are other episodes. Today, we're actually going to be talking about 5-Minute Dungeon, which we've brought up a few times on the show, and it's the 5th episode, so I thought it'd be perfect to start our demo series today with this show.
Right on. Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is this is going to be the first in our deep dive series. We're going to go over the game. We're going to give the hook, the 5-second hook, the 30-second hook, see if it's a game for you, see if it pulls you in, right? And then we're going to look deeper by doing some sample play, a little demo session of the game, and then after that, we're going to go over some strategies that we think you could utilize to better play the game, have more fun with the game, and then some pros and cons to the game.
We're really just going to be picking it apart.
We're going to pick this game apart, right?
Okay.
So as we start here, Ron, I have a question.
All right.
What can you do in 5 minutes?
What can I do in 5 minutes?
Yeah, what can you do?
I can take a shower, get
That's quick.
dressed, but not both at the same time.
No, I can barely do either of those in 5 minutes. I was thinking, that's the hook for this game, is that you can be played in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of things you can do. You go to the bathroom.
Smoke a cigarette. I do not advise that. We do not support tobacco products.
Go to the bathroom, do some dishes. There's not a lot you can do.
My dishes take forever.
They take forever.
Yeah.
What about games? What games can you play in 5 minutes?
Besides this, and I've played it 3 or so times, nothing. Absolutely nothing. None of my games.
You could play like parts of games.
One round of a game?
Maybe 1 round of a game. I'm thinking about Legends Arceus. I might be able to complete 2 Pokedex entries. Not even, just a couple of entries in 5 minutes. That's nothing. So that's the hook for this game, is that it's short and it's sweet. And I thought that'd be fun to see, like, what can we even do? I can make eggs in 5 minutes.
That's skillful.
Yeah, right? Boom, boom, ready. Eggs and toast are good to go. So, do you want to jump in? You want to talk about 5-Minute Dungeon? Oh, also, the episode's going to be 5 minutes, so we got to wrap up here. Thanks for joining us,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks, everybody. See you later.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Good joke.
Okay,
no, we have like
let's
4
get
pages
going.
of notes together.
Yes, so the quick, short hook for the game is right on the box here. I'll flip this down here. and it is a chaotic, cooperative, real-time card game.
Real time. That's pretty unique.
Which is super cool.
Yeah.
Not a lot of games you literally pull out a timer and go to town and play it, right? So that's super cool. So that's got me interested to hear the 30-second hook, which is on the back of the box. So let's flip that over.
You want me to do
Yeah,
this?
read me the 30-second hook.
You and your party of intrepid heroes are trapped in a series of 5 deadly dungeons. To survive, you must battle together against dangerous monsters, obstacles, and dungeon bosses. Defeat each dungeon in 5 minutes or less, and you win.
I'm glad I made you do that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think you're gonna do the hooks from here on out. That was I think I'm ready to play it.
Me too. That sounds fun.
Yeah, so I'm stoked. That was awesome. So what do you do in the game? What's the overview? So that's the hook, but I'll give you a little bit of an overview of what the game's about here.
Sure.
In this game, the players assume the role of one of 10 heroes. And I think this is probably a good time to crack this open.
Yeah, take the lid off.
Let's crack it open.
Inside.
Let's show them what's inside here. So
unboxing.
It is. We shook it up a little here, but
my bad.
Ron shook it up a little
Yeah,
here.
be specific.
But when you crack it open, you're gonna see the rules. Really important. We're gonna go over those today, so you can throw those. You don't need them. But then you're gonna see the 10 heroes that we just mentioned, right? And each hero. It's 10 of them because there's one on each side.
Oh.
Varying art, varying abilities. So
Really?
like we talked about in our how to play videos, what I like to do anytime I start this game is pick one.
Ninja.
Perfect. You're gonna be the ninja for this game. I'll be a wizard, right? And so I like to do that right at the beginning so people, I love that art.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it does, but I'm in. Tell me more.
Ninjas
right?
are peak cool.
So those are the 10 characters. So once the 5-minute timer starts, right, you are going to race to defeat all the monsters in the dungeon. In order to defeat the monsters in the dungeon, you and I, as a team, it's a cooperative game, we're going to work together to play cards that match symbols on the cards.
Okay.
Right? And there's going to be mini bosses, curses, monsters, obstacles that will have these symbols that are in these decks. So,
yeah, bring out the decks.
our resource decks here.
All right.
So, I'll give you your resource deck.
Yeah, what game doesn't have resources,
Yes,
right?
yeah, exactly. So, if I flip these up here, these are the 5 resources you're going to see.
That's pretty lucky you pulled all of
And I think it's important that we mention here, take a stop back here, that this episode might not be as podcast friendly as some of our other episodes.
Not at all.
There's going to be a lot of visuals, so we'll do our best to explain them as concisely as we can. Right? But there's going to be some visuals, there's going to be some gameplay that we might recommend hopping on YouTube. Come check us out. Leave some comments. See what we're doing. See the pieces. See if it's something that you want to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
So, that being said, we have a blue scroll. We have a purple sprinter. We have a red sword, a yellow shield, and a green arrow. And the deck is made up of these. Each deck is made up of these in different amounts. And you use these to defeat monsters as you go through the game. So, as the timer's going, you're working through defeating monsters. There are these 5 bosses. You're going to, each with a number. So boss 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. At the start of each game, you're going to start with boss 1, move down the line. So today, you and I, we're going to demo the baby barbarian. Boss number 1, the easiest boss in the game.
Yeah, that seems well themed. The lowest number, and it's a baby.
Exactly. And so we're going to work through to either defeat this, the dungeon deck, which is made up of these cards that look like a door, and some curse cards that look like skulls, right?
Okay.
It's going to be made up of those. We're going to go through that deck together to ultimately try to beat this in 5 minutes. If we can't beat it in 5 minutes, we lose. If we do beat it, we go to the next boss.
Okay.
After each boss, we reshuffle the dungeon. So the dungeon's going to look a little different each time, right? There's going to be different cards, different monsters, persons in there. But it's going to get harder and harder until hopefully, you can beat the Dungeon Master, the 5th and final boss.
Ooh, that's a little meta.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah. That's cool.
So, that being said, we touched on some of the cards and some of the pieces, but we want to walk through the setup.
The setup.
For the game right now.
Right, and that's my...
Yeah, lay it on me. I'll set it up as we go through this.
Let me lay it out for you. The game can be played with 2 to 5 players, or 6 with the expansion,
which we won't talk about the expansion today. I do have it, but we want to keep it simple in case you want to go buy the game and just have the base game. So 2 to 5 players for today.
Start the game by having each player pick out one of the 10 heroes, which we
did. You're a ninja. Ninjas are cool. I'm a wizard.
Super cool.
Wizards might be cooler. Ninja wizards? Naruto?
Ooh.
Why do you think that's so cool? Why do people like Naruto so much, right?
I think it's starting to make sense.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, I get it. Each hero mat is double-sided. We've explained this, with each side having different art abilities.
Yeah, they'll have, each hero card is going to have 2 sides, and it's going to have, so I picked the wizard, but the sorceress is on the other side. Right. And it's really important to check both sides of the cards, because while they do have different art and different names, they actually have different abilities as well. So, like, I recommend just going by art for new players, but as you learn the game, it might be worthwhile to turn it over and say, I like this ability better.
Right.
But today, I like the wizard. He stops time. He's super cool.
It's super cool. And like you said, check both sides, and then give players the resource stacks, which we have one, but in a 2-player game, it says that we get another deck to widen our arsenal of spells and abilities.
And this is really important because as you go through the dungeon, you're going to see more and more cards. Right? We start with 20 cards in the deck, fighting the baby barbarian. And then at the end, we're going to do all of the door cards, all 40 of them.
Oh my.
So for 2-player game, if you don't take another deck, you won't have enough resources to beat the whole dungeon.
It's just how the math works.
This is how the math works, right? So that being said, I'm going to take the yellow deck as my additional deck today.
And I'll get this red one here.
And we just shuffle those together, and that will be our deck.
Riffle shuffle?
Yeah, just a quick shuffle. Ooh, that was...
Yeah, let's see if I can get a good one going.
Get a good one.
Oh, yeah, and then...
Nope. Oh, no.
Lost it on the...
You almost had it.
Finish there.
Yeah, I can't do the bridge either.
Bridge is the worst.
So I took the yellow deck, which is associated with the Paladin or the Valkyrie card, and you took the red deck, which is associated with the Barbarian card.
Oh yeah.
You can choose, for the 2-player game, you can pick any deck that you want. Just make sure you have 2 together. So what you're going to do once those are shuffled together, you're going to look at your player mat here, and there's going to be 2 sections. There's going to be a draw pile, so that's where we're going to set this.
Face down.
There's going to be a discard pile, which we'll get to here in a minute.
Okay, so once you have your hero and resources, shuffle those together, then you start by drawing your hand. And it varies based on how many players here. In the notes, it's for 3 players, 4 or 5 players. What is it, 3 players, it's 4 cards.
And then
4 or 5 players, it's 3 cards. But for this one, it's 5
It's
cards?
5, yeah. And I really like how they did this. They structured the amount of the starting hand size, because it varies with the number of players that are in the game to scale the difficulty, right? So for a 4 or 5 player game, if everyone had access to 5 cards in their hand, it'd probably be too easy. So they scale it back to having 3 cards in hand. But there's only 2 of us. We need a bigger hand, or are we going to beat the Dungeon Master? Right. So for this, we're going to have 5 cards in our hand. So I'll draw that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's really important. I wanted to mention this here. We'll touch on it in the rules, but remember your starting hand size, because that's really crucial mechanic as you're playing the game.
Is this one of those games that has table talk and?
Yes, it's very important. So not table talk as in making deals, but it's very important that you're communicating with your your allies in this game. Because if you're not communicating, you're losing time, right? One of the biggest resources in this game is the 5 minutes. So anything you can do with your allies to clearly communicate, to not waste time with it, save those seconds, it'll add up. So absolutely talk to each other.
The sand is running out.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, the hourglass is running dry. So.
I
think we got to send this sheet.
Yeah, it's off into the abyss.
Into the abyss, throwing the sheet off the table. Goodbye.
Yeah, it just disappeared. All right. Now it's time to set up the dungeon.
Yes. And we touched on that a little, but to do that, there are these door cards. For our podcast showing, they literally have door art on the back.
Yeah, they look like doors.
They look like doors.
Wood, not metal.
So what you're going to do is you're going to look at the boss that you're facing for the round. So the baby barbarian, and they're going to have the symbols that they need to defeat them at the very end if you get to the end of the dungeon. And then they're also going to have the number of cards that are going to be in their dungeon. So the baby barbarians is 20. So what I'm going to do a little shuffle here of the 40 door cards. Boom, easy. And then I'm going to take 20 cards. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 20.
Nice.
Awkward counting time. Should have done that earlier. Next time. So then I'm going to take these 20 cards. I'm going to combine them with these challenge cards. Then these are they have the door art on them, but they also have a skull on them. There are 10 of these. And what these are, they serve to make the dungeon more challenging. So what they'll have is they'll have events that make people discard cards. They have mini bosses that are harder to defeat than the regular cards in the dungeon.
As is right.
Yep. And then, so those are the two types of cards that you're going to go back and forth between. So what you're going to do, shuffle these 10, and you're going to take 2 per person in the game.
2 per person in the game.
So 2 of us, so there's 4 of these in the deck.
All right, bring it on.
Easy. We don't have to do all 10.
Way too easy.
It's too easy. Yeah. So then I'm going to add these to the deck. I just like to put them in there, get them in there randomly so we see them throughout the game. And then there's a little checkered line right on the door, on the baby barbarian card. I'm just going to put the door deck there, and that's the dungeon we're going to face for this round.
All right, we're set up and ready to rock and roll.
We're set up, yeah. So before we go into that, I think it's important to go over the rules. We touched on them a little through that explanation.
Threw them across the room.
We threw them, but we're going to walk across. We're going to walk across the crosswalk now. We ran through traffic, giving you the rule. We're going to go across the crosswalk, give them to you. Nice and easy here. Okay. So, as previously stated, it is a 5-minute cooperative game. So, what you're going to want to do is pull out a device that has a timer. And the game actually does have an app that provides a 5-minute timer. They hired professional voice actors.
Give them a taste. Give them a taste.
Yeah, I'll give them a little taste here. This isn't for everyone, but it has music playing, and it'll tell you when you're halfway there.
Yeah.
You have a minute left, but I'll give you an example here.
Oh yeah, hit him with the epic one.
Okay.
As your guide to this dungeon, I should warn you that it's very, very spooky in there. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's even got music and everything.
Yeah, it has the epic music to set the mood here. You don't need this. You don't need to download this app, but it's there. It's really cool, and it'll narrate you through. They have a few different narrators. They have spooky, Scottish, dramatic, fearful, spiteful, and epic. So if you're into setting a tone as you play a game, this app is here for you. But I think for the podcast, we're going to just use 5-minute timer I have on my phone.
Oh man, I wish my life had Scottish as a theme.
Scottish as a theme?
Yeah.
Maybe you should just GPS everything in Scottish.
Yeah.
Scottish.
Literally everywhere I go, everything I do.
Even though you know where to go everywhere these days, just always have the GPS on.
It just sounds right.
I feel like we have to do the Scottish voice.
We got it. It's
right?
the best.
Welcome to the Dungeon Adventurers. Do you have what it takes to escape? 3,
Yes.
1, go!
It's so
I
enjoyable.
like the Scottish one.
Yes.
Timer pause.
But I think, let's do some more.
You want? Yeah.
Oh
Let
no,
it.
you've run out of time.
I love the
I
Scottish.
love that. Do you want to use the Scottish one?
Oh yeah. Let's.
Okay, we're gonna use the Scottish voice actor for this one. Okay, so we set up the 5-minute timer here. Just have that on the table, have that nearby, and then what you're going to do is, we talked about this briefly, but there are the 5 symbol cards in each deck. You have the scroll, jump. I call that sprinter sometimes too.
Jump,
Just looks
sprint,
like it's
dexterity.
a purple guy jumping, running,
Athletics,
athletics, whatever word that again, communication, whatever works with your play group.
And in the manual, it just identifies them by their color, right? Not necessarily the
It does
image,
actually
or-
says the color and the image. So that's really important to keep in mind. For our podcast listeners, the scroll is blue, with the sprinter, the jump is purple.
Jump.
The sword is red, and the arrow is green. And I said "and" too early, but the shield is yellow. So you're going to use these as you go through the dungeon, and each card is going to have symbols on it. So for example, I just flipped over the Duck of Canterbury.
Is this all going to be puns?
It's a bunch of puns. It's puns the game. It has a scroll, a sword, and a shield, which means you and I together need to play these 3 cards before we can move on to the next monster, person, or obstacle.
Ghost.
And it's important, each of these cards have a symbol, so monster, person, or obstacle. It's important to keep those in mind because there are certain abilities that allow you to instantly defeat one of those. So,
Oh,
yeah, so I'll give this a little shuffle again since I looked at the cards.
I have one of those.
Yeah, your ninja actually has that effect.
Vault.
Yeah, so once we have our decks, the dungeon built, the timer ready, we hit start, and then we flip a card over. We go through the dungeon until we either beat it in the 5 minutes or we don't. And so I think this is an important time to talk about the 3 ways to defeat the monster. We already talked about the first one,
Oh,
matching the symbols.
right.
So when you match the symbol, you flip the card, match the symbols, slide it off. And that's an important distinction because you just slide it off and not in your discard pile, because your discard pile is used for certain abilities. So in the middle of the table, slide it out of the way. That's out of the game for this round.
Done.
Get out.
Dusted.
Bye. Out. And the second way is you can play or discard card. Okay. Anytime you play or discard cards, refill your hand to your starting hand size. So I was touching on this earlier. It's really important for the amount of players that you have to remember your starting hand size. So say I played 3 cards. Anytime I drop below my starting hand size of 5, I draw back to 5.
Okay.
So you're always keeping your hand full, and that's how you're seeing more of the deck and able to defeat monster. You can have more cards than your starting hand size. You can go over, but you don't draw until you go below or an effect makes you.
Okay.
So I jumped the gun there, but the second way to defeat a dungeon card is that there are certain effects in each of the decks that allow you to just defeat certain types. So I will look through this deck here. So there are these things called, for example, the wizard has a fireball card. It says defeat a monster, and the monster has this little wolf head symbol. So in the deck here, if we find there's an obstacle, so you played Mighty Leap, right?
Yeah.
That's a spell card that says defeat an obstacle, and the obstacle has a little mountain on it. So
I love the flavoring.
Yeah.
It's like jumping over a very long loading screen.
you jump over the loading screen, right? So you play this instead of matching the symbols, and this is really powerful because that saves us resource cards.
All right.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
So,
saving.
Yes, that is your card. This is mine. So that's the second way, is using your ability cards in the deck. And the last way to defeat a door card, is by using the abilities on your hero's cards. And the abilities on your hero's cards, they say, every single one says discard 3 cards. And you can use this anytime you are allowed to, right? So mine says discard 3 cards to pause time. I can use that anytime the timer is going, and the useful aspect of that is since I'm dropping below the starting hand size, I drop back to 5. I see more cards in case we get stuck. And then what is your ability?
Oh, mine is Vault. Discard 3 cards to defeat an obstacle, which has a little like 3-peaked mountain.
Yeah, a little 3-peaked
picture.
mountain. Yeah, so keep that in mind there. If we're on an obstacle that has 3 shields and you're like, do you have some? I have some. We don't have any. Just throw your cards away. Keep moving. Because time is very important too.
Always.
Right?
Yes.
So those are the 3 ways to defeat monsters and door cards. So monsters, persons, obstacles. Those are the 3 ways to do that. So just to overview here, refresh.
Yes.
Is
refresh.
You can play resource cards to defeat the door card. You can play an ability card or spell card. I kind of interchange those, but the game calls them ability cards from certain decks, and each deck will have different ones. So the wizard will have different one than the ninja's deck, right? And then lastly, you can use the abilities on your hero. So keep these 3 methods of defeating monsters in mind, because you're going to want to combine them all to get to the end of the dungeon.
Yes. All right.
All right, so that being said, I think we already went over how we win.
Yes.
You defeat all 5 of the bosses. You did, so you win the game if you beat the Dungeon Master.
The Dungeon Master.
But Ron, there's more ways to lose the game, so tell me how we lose the game.
There sure are, Victor. There are many ways to lose the game. Time running out.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
So again, saving time, figuring out those ways to save time.
Makes me wonder if that stop time ability is a little important.
It's very important.
Very good.
It's very good.
Yeah. All players run out of cards, so our big old stack here.
Our other most important resource, the
Draw pile.
draw pile.
And then you get stuck.
Sometimes you just get stuck. We were talking about maybe there's an obstacle we can't beat, right? Well, what if we don't have a hero that has jump and obstacle? What if we don't have the resources? Sometimes you just get stuck.
And you just go home.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, you ready?
Over.
You ready to go?
Yep, let's head out.
Let's head out.
Okay.
We didn't lose yet. We don't need to leave.
Yeah. You're planning for this? Okay. I need to prepare.
Okay. Yeah, you got to carry me, okay? So, but if you do lose, carry me through this game.
Not that strong.
I'll be on your shoulders. I'll play cards from above.
Okay.
Strategy. We'll get to the strategies, don't worry.
Yeah.
So, if you lose, it doesn't matter how far you are through the dungeons. 2, 5, Dungeon Master, you always go back to the first dungeon. You always go back to the baby barbarian.
I feel like that's humiliating in some way.
It's pretty humiliating. It can be pretty deflating when you're right there, Dungeon Master, he chucks a D20 at you, you get knocked out, and you're like, no, I don't want to start over. So sometimes that, again, back referring to our how to get people into games, sometimes it's okay to take a break.
Yep.
And, the first time we played this, we got beat like that, and we're like, let's play next time, right? Let's try again later. And that's what's really cool about this game. It's super easy to start, easy to pick back up.
Mm-hmm. And with that being the summation of the rules, win-lose conditions, it's really easy to learn and teach and get into, If you haven't played in a long while, like me, then...
How easy was that to refresh, right?
Super easy.
Super easy. So I think now we're going to use our Scottish voice actress.
Yeah.
Jess Green is her name.
Hopefully we don't trip any YouTube algorithms with this.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, well, you'd think they'd use royalty-free stuff. You'd think. We'll see if it needs to get muted.
We'll find out.
While we demo the game. So you want to play around?
Let's play around.
Let's see if we can beat the barbarian. The baby barbarian here.
I'm so anxious.
So I'm going to recommend for this game that you clear the table.
Let's get these mats out of the way.
Yeah, let's take these mats and just put them over here. And the reason I recommend that, clearing the table, is especially with drinks, food, stuff like that. There's a lot of flail, and it's only 2 of us right now, but 4 or 5 people, there's hands flailing everywhere.
Yeah, you watch your eyes.
Watch your eyes.
Watch.
Look at what do you got? What do you got? And it's high pace. 5. You're not always. How often do you think you're on a 5-minute time limit in life?
Never.
Never.
I try not to be.
No.
It's a time crunch.
It's stressful.
Yeah.
So it's gonna bring different behaviors out of people.
Right.
I think about the only time I can think we were on time crunches like that is when we used to be movers.
Oh.
And those were stressful. It's like, you guys have to get that done and emptied in this amount of time. We're like, okay, let's go. Stay focused. So it brings different behavior, different mindsets out of you. So that being said, let's get into this demo and see if we can beat the baby barbarian. So I have my starting hand size.
And we can just lay these out,
Lay
right?
'em
We don't
out.
have
Yeah,
to.
You don't have to hold them.
hide 'em, crib them from you.
Yeah, the reason why you might not want to do that is because you lose time picking the cards up off the table.
Oh.
So again, time saver.
We wanna.
We don't slap them down.
Slap
So
'em down.
if you want to be, I'll be the flipper.
You be
I'll
the
flip
flipper.
The card. You be the slider.
I'll be the slider.
And let's have Jess get us started.
Jess, the voice actor.
Voice
The
actor.
Scottish.
Scottish voice actress.
Fire away.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to the dungeon, adventurers. Do you have what it takes to escape?
It's so cute.
3, 2, 1, go!
That can't be
Okay,
a real
7
accent,
unhelpful dwarves. A sword, shield, and
Get it outta
slide
here.
it next. That's
not supposed to be there.
Okay, next card we have the Squire Nedward. He's a person with 2 shields and an arrow. So there's an arrow. I have a shield.
I don't have anything.
I have another shield.
Okay,
Slide it.
go.
Okay, next card. The definitely not booby-trapped chest requires a sprinter and 2 shields.
Wait, it's an obstacle. Let's get out
Just
of it.
jump the obstacle next. So we have our first event. Discard 3 cards. A trap door. So I will discard 3.
You got it? Okay.
Draw. Each player has to discard.
Oh,
3.
each
So,
player.
yep,
Okay.
discard 3.
Go. Move. Go.
On to the next one. A shark with legs. It requires. I got the arrow and a sword. Cool. Next we have the timber wolf. Requires 2 swords.
Timberwolf. I don't have any swords. Do you have any swords?
I have.
It's left.
Just stop.
That's way better
Okay.
in Scottish.
I have magic bomb that counts with 1 of anything, which kind of is stinky. So I'm gonna discard 3
Yep.
to stop time.
Stop the time.
Timer pause.
Thank
She
you.
said it, okay.
And then I will draw 3 and see if I get anything. I have a fireball.
Oh.
Okay, you ready?
I'm
So
ready.
as soon as we play a card, the timer starts again. So,
Timer
fireball.
Get it.
And next card, we have the warrior princess. She takes a shield and an arrow. I have an arrow.
Get it.
You have the shield. Next, a very long loading screen.
Very long loading screen.
Take your sprinter back. I will
Sprinter
magic bomb, which counts as 1 of anything.
Taurus.
So now we have exactly 26 ninjas.
Hey, got it.
Killed it.
Exactly
Next.
26 ninja.
Boots. It's a monster that takes a sword and an arrow. So I have an arrow.
No swords over here.
Okay, I will stop time again.
Timer pause.
That is a really helpful.
It's very helpful. Oh, gives us a breather.
breather. How long do
Okay.
you have to remain paused? Hey.
It's until we play another card. So I don't have anything, so I can discard 3 more cards.
Stop time again.
Yeah, I'll stop time
That's-
again.
All right.
All right, ready? I will play the sword and we're
Time
starting.
resumed.
Okay, next we have the chair that is very uncomfortable. It's a bunch of swords. It requires a sword, a sprinter, and a shield, so there's a sword.
Okay, get it.
Next, we have quicksand, 2 sprinters and a shield. I
2
have
sprinters and a shield. Get it
kill
out of
it.
here.
Next, we have the Sir Fuzzy Lumps. It is it's a kitten in armor that is a monster, a sprinter, and 2 arrows. So
do I not have
I will
something for this?
discard 3, pausing time.
Timer pause.
I feel like that's cheating.
It feels so strong.
Yeah.
It's very good. That being said, I have 1 arrow, so I'll play it, see what I get.
Oh,
Didn't get it. Pause
get it.
time.
paused.
Time resumed.
Okay,
Time
there we
resumed.
go.
Get it.
Next we have confusion. Pass your hand to another player. We're the only players. So
That's confusing.
next we have massive pauldron. It is 2 swords and a scroll.
Get it out of here.
Kill it with the magic, a holy hand grenade. So now we have the Duck of Canterbury.
Get it.
Kill it. next we have a ghost that takes 2 swords and an arrow, but I have backstab, which can just kill a person.
Get it out of here.
Get it out of here. Then we have a literal straw man.
I will discard 3 to defeat it automatically.
Awesome. And then next we have Barber Area.
Stab. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Then we have a cactus that wants a hug. It's a monster that requires 3 shields. So I have 1 shield,
2 shield.
shield, 3 shield.
All right.
Next,
We're so
10
close.
minutes
We're
left.
so close.
lots and lots of
2
zombies.
swords.
So we need another sword, which I don't have. So I will.
Got a sword.
You got one? Cool. And then next we have the Wizard of Ill Repute. It's a mini boss that takes 4 scrolls, which I have in hand, and 2 sprinters. I don't have anything, but I do have a Divine Shield, which pauses time and makes each player draw a card. So, whew.
That doesn't help me.
You didn't get it?
That doesn't help at all.
Okay.
Is this seriously on the second to last card?
I mean, I can use wizard hacks.
I
Keep going.
yeah.
All right, wizard hacks. Let's
Lean into it.
lean in. All right, discard that, draw 3.
Oof.
I got 1.
There's 1.
Wizard hacks.
Oh, you gotta hit play. You're playing cards.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. Heck. Okay.
What is that?
I
Can you
will
play it?
play a healing potion. All players draw 3 from their discard pile.
From the discard. That gets us the things we need. Draw 3.
Cool.
Boom. It's
Oh,
out of
next.
here. Last card.
All right, the Rat King, the mini boss that takes 3 swords and 3 sprinters.
3 swords
Ah.
and 3 sprinters.
Yikes!
that was all
going
the
to
sprinters.
Pause time.
Timer pause.
Okay, didn't get it. Gonna do it again. Wow. Okay, drawing 3.
I feel like I should have been using my ability more.
Maybe. So that we're learning here. We're learning for the strategy portion of the game.
We're
So,
prepping it.
I'm going to discard 3 and go again. Because the nice thing is, this doesn't count as playing cards when you use an ability while time's stopped.
Oh,
So that makes this pretty strong.
it's really helpful with our
It really
1
is
minute
helpful.
left.
Yeah, so I got a sword and another sprinter.
It's all on you, man.
All right, I'll play a Divine Shield.
Timer pause.
Pause time, all players draw a card.
It's all on you, man.
Oh my gosh. Discard 3, draw 3. I will do it again.
This is gonna be it.
I hope not.
You're burning through all your resources, man.
Okay.
It's 2 sword. Do you
Okay.
have any sword left?
Okay. There has to be. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, get him out.
Okay, we defeated the door deck. Now we're on to the baby barbarian with 1 minute, and it takes 2 swords, 2 arrows, and 3 sprinters. So I'm
This is awful.
going to play the magic bomb, which counts as 1 of all of them. There's the sword. The arrows are done. We need sprinters. I got 1.
This is humiliating. I'm supposed to have these, and I have nothing. Nothing.
No.
That's it. We're done. The baby got us.
Baby
we
got
beat
us.
by a baby, man. How does that make you feel?
Oh man, that's rough. I guess we're just gonna listen to Jess yell at us.
Is that what we're doing?
In 30 seconds.
Are we just taking our
Rethink?
shame
I think we gotta take the shame here.
and sit in it?
Yep, we'll just sit in the shame. Look at the camera here, 15 seconds. The barbarian, he's just coming, he's just waddling at us, and there's nothing we can do.
Nothing we can
There's
do.
nothing we can do. Wow. We might need redemption.
Redemption?
We might need to try him again. No.
Head in hand.
We lost.
Oh no, you've run out
Oh,
of
yep.
days.
There it is. Well, good show. Good show. Not a good show, actually, but that was very fun. I think that was a really good demonstration of the game.
I think so.
You said I was planning on losing. I wasn't. I was trying desperately to win there. But that being said, that gives us a good starting point to talk about some strategies. What could we
Yeah.
have done to actually take that off? So before we get into the strategies, we won't do it now, but if the next time that you play, between rounds, or if you have to start over, just flip the cards over, and each card back has a different color. Just put them into their matching colored piles, right? So again, we won't do it just now because we want to talk about some of the strategies for the game. But we can pull our play mats back here and get into some strategy.
Strategy. That's what it's all about, really.
The wizard let us down.
Wizard let us down. I don't think the wizard let us down.
No, the wizard didn't let us down.
I think my inability to successfully
Find a
leverage. Yeah. Find a jumper.
Yeah.
I'm not good at jumping.
We'll put wizard up there.
That's all that proves.
Put Scottish voice actress away. So we lost in one of the ways which we got stuck. It happens. And if we want to go again, all we do, shuffle up, go with baby barbarian again.
Mm-hmm.
Took him 5 minutes to waddle over to us, and we couldn't do it. But that's okay. So what's
The way you described that makes me feel more shame.
So strategy? I'm sorry. You know, it's pretty shameful.
It is.
We'll get redemption. Don't
Redemption
worry.
are coming
So
up.
strategy 1 that I had listed here is choosing heroes with diverse abilities to get out of tough spots.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose the wizard. That did get us out of a lot of tough spots.
A lot.
A lot of them.
Most of them.
And so that leads us into the next strategy, which is don't be afraid to use your abilities. I think this links right up, right? So you had the obstacle ability. Maybe we should have just let you, every single time there's an obstacle, just play the 3 cards.
Oh yeah, totally. And I had cards in hand that were like defeat obstacles, and I was using those instead of pitching my resource cards, when, like you said, the smart move would have been lean into the ninja ability.
And it's really hard because you want to balance the resources, you want to make sure you have enough cards, but you also want to see enough cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the issue, is like, we saved too many cards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hard balance, and also that's what I like about this game is that 2 to 5 players each, the number of players is going to look very different. So for a 2-player game, we might need to use our abilities more because there's less decks, as you saw. Wizard, time stop. But for maybe 4 players, you don't need to use them as much. But I think this strat point here is to make sure you do have diverse abilities just in case. So what kind of abilities did we not have represented? We had the Huntress here that says, Animal Companion, you can discard 3 cards to have another player draw 4.
Ooh, draw a card.
Card draw. Seeing more of the deck, right? Because you got to think, if I'm the Huntress, I discard 3 cards to see 3 new ones. You draw 4. That's 7 new cards that we're seeing.
That's wild.
Right? So keep that in mind as you go through the deck. The Ranger can just kill a person. There's a lot.
Kill a person?
Yeah, defeat a
in
person.
The game.
Defeat, yes.
In the game.
Okay, yep. good catch there. The Paladin can defeat a monster.
Yes.
Can smite it.
Not just anybody walking by.
Not anyone walking.
Yeah.
Valkyrie, on the other side, it can use Inspire, which says you can discard 3 to have everyone else in the game draw 2. So this is a card that might be really powerful, that gets more powerful the more players you have in the game.
Really? Yeah.
So I like this one a lot. That scales up. So say you're in a 4-player game. So if I used that, you would only draw 2. 4-player game, 3 players draw 2. That's seeing way more cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Barbarian can defeat a monster or a person. So keep this in mind as you're going through the game. Like, what abilities can get me through the game, right? And it's really easier to make combinations when you have more players. You can say, you get the one that can defeat a person. You take the Gladiator. I'll take the Paladin that can defeat a monster.
Right, covering down.
You take the Ninja, cover your bases.
Right.
But for a 2-player game, I'm going to recommend use the Wizard, you can stop time, and use one of the card draw classes like the Valkyrie or the Hunter.
Those are my favorites, is the card draw. Yes. Yeah, I just went with the Ninja because it's coolest, but really, sometimes it pays to not be cool.
But on the other side of the Ninja here is the Thief. What does the Thief do?
He's pretty classy, but look at that. Draw 5 cards.
Discard 3 to draw 5. That could have gotten us out of the pinch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But as you learn, as you go through the game, play more games, you're like, okay, maybe in a 2-player game, we need the Thief, we need the Wizard. Boom.
Ninja doesn't exactly work, so...
It doesn't work the greatest. It might increase the difficulty a little.
Go for something else.
So what's the next strategy that we have listed here?
Our next strategy here. What, you talking about learning what types of resources and ability cards are in each colored deck?
Yeah, read your cards.
Read your cards. Pretty
Right?
straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward, but we didn't do it this round, right? What I recommend is picking up your deck when you start, if you have time, or is just look at what kind of cards are in your deck, right? So the wizard has fireballs, right?
That's pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool. And each deck has different ability cards. So I recommend before the start of the game, just giving everyone a minute or two to say, okay, what kinds of abilities do I have? Okay, so the barbarian can leap obstacles. That's cool. Maybe if we're stuck on an obstacle, and the Valkyrie can make me draw cards, the Huntress can make me draw cards. Pick me.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
get familiar with your cards, right? And then the purple deck, so the thief or the ninja, can backstab, defeat persons.
Classic thief
right?
behavior.
Yeah, classic. So I recommend when you get your decks, when you give them out to people, just read through them, see what abilities you have, because there are also abilities that reference other players. There's, in the Barbarian deck, there's a card called Enrage. So you play the card and then pick 2 people to draw 3.
Oh, that's really good for having more than just a 2-player game.
Exactly.
It's great.
So pick me. So sometimes I'll say, like, pick me. I'm pretty sure I have a card that can get us out of this. So getting familiar with your decks is really important here. So the next one we have here is, we've touched on this throughout the episode, is communication.
Communication is key.
It's huge for really any co-op game.
Oh yeah, just having you read out the challenges on the cards and everything was just incredibly helpful, because I knew what to play before I even saw what was going on.
Exactly, and you saw, or at the beginning, we said, okay, I'm gonna read these out at the beginning of whenever we flip a card, so you know to listen for that, right? But sometimes I haven't done that with play groups, and we're like, oh, what do you have? What do you have? And we lose time because we're like screaming at each other. Sometimes they're not talking and just throwing cards down. It's like, oh crap, I have that. Pick it up, right? It's kind of contradictory. It feels like it, but slowing down can actually save you time.
Yeah, slow is smooth and smooth is fast in a lot of ways.
Yes. So that I like that a lot. You'll know with different play groups how people are going to communicate with each other. So it can just at the beginning say, how are we going to address this, right? And then we have designated roles. So
Oh, that really helped too.
that really helped.
Having you flip the card and me pushing the things.
Yeah.
Sometimes there was a bit of overlap, but it's fine.
And it happens where it's like, oh crap, we get lost in our decks, in our hands, and we're like, oh no, and someone else flip it. But assigning these roles at the beginning, saying that you're gonna be the flipper, I'll be the flipper, you be the slider.
And having our Scottish voice actress being the timer.
The timer for us. And what's interesting is, if that's the first time I've used that app, because I learned about it when I was doing the research for this, and it was really cool. But in the past, if we've had more players than could actually play in the game, we would just have someone run the timer for us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's how we did it every single time we played previously, and I feel like the app is way better at the call outs,
so
and
too.
because it's not using up your brain space that you need for the game.
Absolutely. It was so nice because it's like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and it just let you know, and it perked it. I saw like when it was like, okay, focus, right? 3 minutes, okay. It was a nice little jolt to keep us going. And it's like, I've played this with my mom and others, and she's like, this is too hectic for me. I'm gonna run the timer, and I will be Jess Green. I will be the Scottish touch. So that was really nice of her to do that. So I think it's important, if you have extra people, just assign them the timer role, because they feel like they're playing too. They're participating as well.
There's a lot of games like that where the person doesn't necessarily have to play, but they just do a function of the game for you.
And they're still facilitating and they're still invested.
And part of the conversation.
Part of the conversation and invested in the outcome.
Yeah.
Because they don't like, get it, guys, hurry up. Like, okay, we're
Cheering
trying.
you on,
We're
yeah,
trying.
a cheerleader.
We're working on
That's
it.
great. Like, who doesn't want a cheerleader?
Come on, exactly. I always want cheerleaders. I always want Jess Green. Back to our Scottish conversation.
Yes, please.
Please. The next strategy that I have here is something really cool, again, that I picked up while reading the rules, is that you can, between rounds, say we beat the barbarian or either we lose or whatever, you can change heroes.
Oh,
Between
hot swapping.
Yeah, between every round, you say, I want to try that, or the gladiator wasn't in the game, I want to play the gladiator, or the huntress, we needed the huntress in that. Change that up, and that's really important too, to look at the boss cards, because each boss and mat, I'm pretty sure they're called, is going to require different symbols to defeat. So the baby barbarian's going to require swords, arrows, and sprinters.
Yeah.
Then the second boss, the Grime Reaper, requires a bunch of scrolls and some shields. So that's important to keep in mind, because I don't know if I've touched on this yet, but each colored deck will have the highest concentration of the matching colored symbol.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, so think the yellow deck is going to have the highest concentrations of shields, and down the line there. So when you go in to a boss fight, you can say, I think we absolutely need the wizard here, because the Grime Reaper requires 7 scrolls. And that deck has the highest amount of them.
Oh no, yeah.
So take advantage of switching the heroes and making a composition to beat the dungeon.
Wow, yeah, they're all pretty varied, so
Yeah,
mixing it up pays.
mixing it up really pays.
The dungeon master looks like he is spoiling for all 4.
Oh yeah, he's not moving. He's staying in his dungeon. So the dungeon master requires 3 swords, 3 arrows, 3 shields, and 3 scrolls.
Wild.
No sprinters. He's not going anywhere. You're going to him.
Yes.
He's really challenging, so it's really important to have that diverse makeup. And this next point is yours, but I'm going to take it because because I was the wizard.
Yeah.
This point I have right here is just use the wizard.
Really? I was saying it during
You're saying during the
game,
gameplay, but the wizard's really strong. And I used to think, when you play the wizard, when you use his ability and discard 3, it stops time, and to use it again, you'd have to start time temporarily again. But using any ability doesn't restart time.
Just keep doing it.
You're just sifting through the deck. So I like to recommend, if you're just getting stuck, you're getting stressed out by the 2-minute warning, use the wizard, take some breaths, and say, what do you got in hand? We need to figure this out.
I gotta know. Hold on a sec. Is the sorceress got something like comparable?
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
Go wizard.
The wizard is really strong, and so I recommend the wizard. I recommend the Valkyrie in higher player games. So we talked about that, so everyone can draw 2. And I recommend the Huntress in any game, because you just get to choose another player to draw 4 cards.
And there's nothing bad about drawing cards.
4 cards? That's so many, right? So those are specific heroes that I recommend trying out if you feel like you're getting stuck.
Yep. And then the thing that probably makes the best strategy for making the game easier or defeating it is more players.
More players.
More brains, more brain power.
More brains.
More cards.
More cards, more resources. You're going to have a better chance, right? If, say we had another player against the barbarian, probably wouldn't get stuck. We have a lower chance of getting stuck.
And it's like more perspectives, more diversity. It's like it always pays off to just be as varied and as spread out as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the main strategies we have outlined for the game. If there's anything that you can think of as you play the game that you missed, you're like, why didn't you try that, do that, let us know.
If we miss something obvious,
Please let us know. So as we wrap up here, I just wanted to go over some of the pros and cons of the game, I think this is a pretty solid way to summarize this. So some of the pros that I had for the game were that it's cost effective.
Always good.
I spent $20 one time and played it dozens of times.
Dozens of times. The wear on the box is just incredible. It's got a nice patina on the cards.
Yep, I even taped it up. It's
beautiful.
And then it's quick. Yeah, we've been talking about this whole time, but it's a quick game.
Quick games.
It says 5 minutes, but you can play it. It probably takes about 6 minutes,
Really?
1 minute setup. But 6 minutes? What can you do in 6 minutes? Make 3 eggs?
I can't.
You can't.
I can't make 3 eggs. What are you? Huh?
What?
Am I just bad at making eggs?
We'll see. We're gonna have an egg episode.
Where we compete to see who can make. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll have hot stoves up here.
Absolutely. Come to Shared Discovery Cooking Show.
We'll make eggs.
We'll make eggs
Just
for you.
eggs.
Low complexity. The game is really easy to understand, easy to teach, so it's really a good introductory game.
An introductory game, and are we sending it?
I believe so.
All right, send it. Would they keep coming and disappearing into the void? I don't know.
I can't. We'll never find it again.
Ever. They're gone for good.
The art is really good and really flavorful. You were talking about the puns.
Yeah.
Throughout. Baby Barbarian,
Oh,
the
Lord.
Grime Reaper, it's a skeleton janitor. So it's really like goofy, silly art that I think helps facilitating getting new players into the game.
It's some of these puns. I gotta read some of these off. The loading screen's good, but the puns are where it's at.
Let's see.
Barbarian, so like someone from Central Asia who's a barber, like deep cut, but I love it.
A straight up ghost. It's just a ghost with man hands. Like what?
That's uncomplicated, yeah.
Yeah, it's
A literal straw man,
yeah.
not like the argument, but a
A
literal.
literal straw. And just an adorable slime. So I think these last few points that we talked about, benefits here are, there's a lot of variety in the heroes. People can get attached to them. It's good introductory, good co-op game.
Yeah,
for
great
players.
co-op game, yeah.
Teaches communication, and the timer is exciting. Gets you kind of forces you to be invested into it. So
Yep, and I have to be the negative Nancy on this one.
yeah,
No,
what are some of the cons?
Not bashing any Nancys out there.
Nancy.
You know who you are. But, like your mother aptly put, it's a stressful game.
It is
It's
stressful.
frantic. Arms are flying, appendages are flying everywhere. You gotta maybe wear some eye protection.
Wear your safety glasses.
Wear some safety glasses. Always wear your safety glasses.
Always wear your safety glass.
Maybe like a high visibility vest or something. But yeah, it's just a wild time, and expect to get like sweaty and worked up.
Yeah, I'm a little worked up here. It might be the lights, but also like
I'm cooking. Right. And some people don't like chaos. Like referring to your mother again, doesn't like chaos.
too much for me. That's too stressful.
And that's all right. Sometimes it's just too much. Especially if you've been doing a lot that day, or you have a busy schedule, and like.
And you have responsibilities with time crunches. It can be.
And it might not be exactly the best for relaxing.
Exactly.
It's stress inducing. That's part of the fun of the game is the stress level. But the low complexity doesn't lean to a lot of complexity, right? That's kind of a common trend with the low complexity games.
Yeah, it can be for more franchise players, like there's not enough depth there, not enough to grab me. So, but Ron, I think that wraps it up for today.
Okay.
I think we did a pretty solid deep dive. We need to beat the Barbarian next time.
Next time.
But we just want to say thank you to BCTV for allowing us to put on this production.
Thank you.
If you out there have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments on the YouTube video. We want to look at those, or email us at shareddiscoveryshow@gmail.com. Ron's working on getting that Twitter, so we'll have that soon, and we'll talk to you there, absolutely. But as we close episode 5 of Shared Discovery, make sure you have fun, be kind to others, and play some games.
Yeah.
Ron, take us away.
Riches must be divided, but real wealth can be shared.
I love that.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh.